and welcome to the Mind Renovation Nation show, brought to you by Red Maples, your go-to source for institutional style property management of small multifamily rentals. I'm your host, Nathan Bush, and each show I share with you real life lessons I learned from growing my real estate business. In today's episode, we have a special guest, Jamie Frazier, who will be sharing her insights and journey from solo parent to successful real estate investor. Jamie will reveal how she has balanced project management, flipping homes, and creating a life by design. She tuned for insights that can help you for some insights that can help you transform your real estate ventures and personal life. You won't want to miss this. We've designed this show to answer the questions you have about growing your real estate business's revenue. If you want more of these types of resources regularly, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel or head over to www.nathanbushmba.com/subscribe or check out other resources in the links in the description. If you guys want to be transformed and you are watching live right now, I highly encourage you to go ahead and start submitting your questions that you have for Jamie. If you're interested in the flipping world or any of the information we talk about any way along the line, all you have to do is put some information in the comments and you will be transformed. So speaking of transformation, I know you guys know those home flipping shows. I know you watch them on HGTV. Maybe you watch the show Hometown. That's like one of my favorite with Aaron and Ben. It's a couple that goes through different houses, old homes, and they flip them and renovate them. And they then resell them to potential buyers. Well, today's guest, Jamie, does this in real life. She's not only doing it in real life, but she's doing it as a single mom. And so if you have ever considered how do you make it all happen, you're not going to want to miss the information that Jamie is going to share with you today. She actually has a quote. She doesn't know that I pulled this from our previous conversation, but she has a quote that she said, "Creating homes where there wasn't a livable home before is her passion. And it's about transforming spaces and lives one project at a time." And so if you have not met Jamie Frazier before, you're about to. Jamie Frazier has been hardworking in the real estate field since 2017, starting as a traditional residential sales agent. She quickly transitioned to doing contract for close work for other agents and has successfully closed over 1,650 transactions since that time. Guys, that's a lot of real estate deals this lady's been a part of. Jamie does some work in the field and also in the process of training her operations manager to run the day-to-day operations of her contract for closed business. In 2022, Jamie purchased her first investment property, which she flipped. In 2023, she purchased her second project. She turned into her personal home and then rented out her prior residence. Jamie's currently working on her next fix and flip and is primarily the visionary and project manager for it. Jamie has been interested in homes and the way people live their lives since childhood, and truly has found a vocational field that she is passionate about. Her career and background is strong in administrative and customer service roles, and these serve her well in her project management aspects of real estate investing. We're going to dive into all of this today. Jamie has a middle school aged daughter, and she appreciates the freedom and flexibility real estate gives to be fully present as a parent. God, you guys know that I love the family and parenting life on this show. And so if you don't know how to put it all together, you're going to want to stay tuned, because Jamie not only is a great parent in that aspect, she's also a native Texan that grew up in St. Charles County and currently lives in the suburbs of St. Louis, which is also a region which she focuses on her investments. With that said, I'd like to welcome Jamie to the show. How are you, Jamie?
Good. Thank you, Nathan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to have you on the show. I mean, we've talked a lot about my affinity for people who take parenting seriously. And I know that there's a lot of people that want to hear all about flipping, and we'll get to flipping in just one second. We're going to teach people to quit making flipping excuses. But I think sometimes people use their children as excuses. I'm going to go right after it today. I'm going to talk about it. It's a difficult concept. And you being a solo parent, like, it's one thing if you have a partner that's helping you through the process. You guys can kind of juggle the baseball game or juggle the volleyball practice or taekwondo or whatever it happens to be. It's real difficult when you're trying to run businesses and do it all on your own. My real question to get started is, before we even get into your background, Jamie, how do you manage to balance these demands of all the different things going on? And maybe you can share a little bit about your background as you talk about this.
So as far as balance, I have tools and I have support. I have obviously Google calendars or Outlook calendars, but I also have like 3 different versions of paper calendars. Like I'm a planner aheader. So everything is scheduled out. I do actually even schedule like today is the day that I'm going to stay at home and not go do anything outside of the house. Like it fits in well with like my administrative skills. So, I do that. And then, I do have good family support. I try not to take advantage of that too much. My family all has their own lives and families and jobs and everything like that. But it's really wonderful. My mom lives close to me. I have 7 siblings and 6 of them live in the area. So that that helps when I really do, need to, go to like a networking event and still have someone take my daughter to Taekwondo or just hang out with her at home. So I am very grateful for the support. And as she's gotten older, it's gotten easier. So she's 11 now.
Yeah. And, we can take this back just a little bit because I talked a lot in your introductions that you've been in real estate since 2017. What got you into real estate and on this path and this journey?
So I had been an employee before that, and I'm not sure if I was even motivated, like internally motivated to work for myself when I was a younger adult. And as my daughter was getting older, I saw that I wanted to be there for her more. And so that it was time. I had the motivation to work for myself and to have that kind of lifestyle, that kind of flexibility. And so my initial thought was that I was going to start like a personal life coaching business for other moms. And so I was reading a bunch of books and I read The Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. And at the very end, she talked about how she was just obsessed with organizing from childhood. And so I asked myself that same question. What have I been obsessed with since childhood? And it was always like, even as a kid, I would like to look at real estate listings and house plans and play with doll houses and like make just houses out of random stuff in my backyard. Like I was obsessed with it from early childhood. And so someone's like, well, why don't you get your real estate license? So, I saw an advertisement, like a job, help wanted ad or whatever for a real estate agency. And now I know like they're always hiring, all of them are always hiring real estate agents. But I was so blessed to walk in to Keller Williams' office and I'm still friends. I saw him this week, the team lead that was at that office, and he really helped me get started. I did start in sales. I was on a couple of different teams. So I learned really well the process of, helping people buy and sell their homes. And then in 2018, at the time that my marriage was ending and I did become a solo parent was when I started, like right that same month was when I started the contract to close business, because I found that doing like open houses and a bunch of showings or listing appointments, that didn't really fit my strength. It drained me really quickly to do sales full time. But at that point, I had learned the contract to close process really well. So another friend suggested, why don't you start a transaction coordinator business? So I did that. And I was given the opportunity to be an interim front desk person in my office. So I was able to gain clients very quickly. And within a matter of months, I was earning a full-time income doing that.
Wow, that's incredible. So you went through a divorce. You started contract for close business. I mean, what strategies have helped you in juggling the responsibilities of being a single mom versus, running a business full time? Because that's incredible.
I feel like I don't know. I don't think I have all the answers to that. Like it just is a day by day thing that I have to go through. There's been a lot of late nights. I have had really busy seasons And that's part of the reason that I'm transitioning out of full-time contract to close, is because I can't control the volume of my work as well. Because if my clients get super busy, then I get super busy. But I don't want to drop clients, because then when they do hit the slow times, then I wouldn't have them anyway. So there have been days where I'll take a dinner break, spend the evening with my daughter, and then go back to work. And that is something that's how I've managed in the past. And I no longer identify with a person that works till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. So like I said, I don't have the right answer. And then I met Mike Kitko. Well, I followed him for years. And last fall at the Gateway to Freedom, which we've talked about, and I told him, I'm like, I hate my life. Like I hit my goal financially, my income goal last year. And that was to pay taxes on 6 figures. And I hated my life, because I was working till 1 or 2 in the morning. So I've been on a journey to, find that balance between success and not burnout.
That transformation is so imperative and important for every entrepreneur. I don't know any entrepreneur that doesn't have a little bit of imbalance to get where they want to go. And then they try to figure out, okay, how do I realign priorities? How do I realign the meaning of what I'm even working towards right now, so that I can integrate those with the things that I want to do in my life, and not make this all about working, living to work, but working to live. And I know that there's some people out there that are concerned about maybe starting a real estate business on the side of their job, flipping houses on the side of their job. They're currently employed. They work a 9 to 5. They did not start a contract for closed business like you did. And so their income is set, and they use that to pay their bills, and they feel their income stable. And so, yes, I'm talking to you. I know, you know exactly who I'm talking to. All right. So the income's stable, they got a family, but they have this passion, this desire inside to flip houses. And their concern is, I'm not going to have any hours of my life.
Right.
What would you say to that person to help them make the transition? Because I know you're going through the second phase of that.
Yeah.
But how do you make that transition to the first phase of say, okay, I'm going to hold my breath, and I'm going to do this for a period of time until I don't have to do this anymore?
The first thing is not to think that you have to do everything by yourself. Number one priority. That's an unhealthy pride, to think that you're the only one that can do everything, and you will burn out really, really fast doing that. So find help in whatever area it is. Earlier this year, I hired a personal assistant, and that person was helping me with my household. I don't enjoy household chores or shopping or meal prep or anything like that. So I was leveraging that during this transition time. And that person has since moved on. So but I saw that I value that type of help to leverage my time. And so, probably when school starts back up, I'll hire for that role again, because we have this idea like, oh, I'm the mom, I have to do, take care of my house. No, I don't. I don't have to. I don't have to physically be polishing my floors. I don't. That's not what I'm here to do. And I can provide someone else that loves doing that a job as well. So that's number one. And then even with you can hire project managers to help you. Definitely, if you are going to be flipping, you do need to go look at your properties once or twice a week. You do need to go be present and make sure that things are happening. But again, leverage your time. And also, a good project manager will save you time and money, because they're an expert at what they're doing. They can guide you through the permit. I'm learning. I'm learning the permit application process in Florissant, because I don't even have words for how frustrating it is, but I'm learning.
Yeah, the municipalities. What's interesting about St. Louis, guys, if you're watching from out of state, what you probably don't understand or know is that St. Louis has dozens, if not hundreds, of different little municipalities all around. And each one of those different municipalities has a different inspector that will go through your project, no matter how well you think you did on it, and tell you need to do this or you need do that. And it's different than an ASHI certified inspector, at least in most municipalities. Some municipalities will allow you to hire an ASHI inspector, at least used to. And so, but now it's different than an ASHI inspector in that these municipalities are looking for opportunities to get you to pull permits. And in my opinion, that's because those permits that are getting pulled are tax revenue generators for the municipality. And so they're looking to see, well, did you have a permit pulled when you pulled your HVAC system and put in a new HVAC system? Even if you didn't buy the house and fix or replace the HVAC system, if the previous owner didn't do it and didn't get the permit, in a lot of cases, these local municipalities are identifying those issues and then making you pull a permit to verify the information that it's installed correctly. They won't just inspect it. You got to pull the permit, have them come out and inspect it, and then re-inspect it. So when she talks about frustrations with the local municipalities, fluorescent's not even the worst of the worst in St. Louis. That's like if I'm getting started in real estate investing and I want to learn what municipalities are like, go to Florissant because they will treat you like a normal real estate investor there. So I just wanted to give a little bit of clarity and background to this whole concept of inspections in St. Louis, because not a lot of people from out of state know that, Jamie. They're not familiar with the inspection process in St. Louis.
Yeah. And I view it as an opportunity to increase my value as I build out my renovation business, and I do intend to be the project manager like that. This experience that I'm going through for my own flip will serve me well. And I'm building a relationship. Like, I was talking to the permit reviewer this morning. He invited me down to City Hall to show me exactly how to draw the plans, because I'm like, oh no. And I feel that is a big key, is just building relationships. And my favorite thing that I do is to connect people. I don't know where that fits in with our conversation, but
no, I
it's
appreciate
the most energizing thing that I do. Is like, oh, you need this? Here's a perfect person that you need to know.
I love that. And I love connecting people too, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, is because not a lot of people know that there's contract for close businesses available that can take your real estate business literally to the next level. If you want to be a 6-figure producer in real estate, you're not doing that on your own. You're not writing all of your own contracts. You're not doing all of your own stuff. You're getting a team of people. When you talk about connecting people, that's so critical. If I can identify a number of people in my audience that need your services, that's one of the reasons why I just want to introduce, because not a lot of people know that. But you did bring something up that was important, and I find this to be incredibly important. When you're transitioning from an administrative role to an investing career, I know that those things can be challenging. You're successfully moving from that contract to close business into real estate investing with flipping houses. Can you share some of the biggest challenges outside of the municipal permits that you're currently facing and how you overcame those?
So, just going back a little bit to what you said a minute ago, like, I had to give myself my own advice, because I tell my potential contract to close clients that, like, my best clients are delegators. And I wasn't listening to my own advice. I'm like, because I take care of everything that, like, their buyers and sellers don't need to. They don't even know what I upload documents to compliance. I do everything except negotiate and advise their clients. Like, so they're delegating the stuff to me that they don't need to be doing. And so I think that has just been my biggest challenge, is learning how to delegate the things. Again, like I said, I don't have to do everything. There's other people that can do it as good or better than me. And I think my challenges probably have been easier because I plug in so strongly to my community, and I'm in multiple masterminds. And so I build relationships with other people that are just so encouraging and supporting. Like, I don't have anybody in my life that tears me down. I don't have a single person in my life that discourages me, tears me down. Everybody in my life is an energy giver to me. And I think that if you have that, you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah, I've found that I cut those energy sucks out of my life so fast that it's become a habit. Like, people are like, oh, that person was your friend. Not any longer.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
wish
what
them
ends up happening.
well. Have
Yeah,
a peaceful life. Just
I don't want anything but the best for people. That's another thing that I think it's so important that we understand, that I want so much more for other people than I could ever possibly want for myself. I don't live a life to take. I live a life to serve. If you were to ask my wife, like, how much money does Nathan spend a year? I hardly spend anything on anything ever. Like, it's not something that I am not a spender. I'm not even a saver. It's just, I just go to work to serve other people. It's a wonderful benefit of having, two incomes in the household, is that we're not so focused on having to provide any one of us. We both are able to provide for the family. So that's been, nice. But on the flip side, you're doing that, providing and giving at the same time. And that I find inspirational. I don't know how you can be a sole breadwinner and provide as much value as you do to other people. Jamie, that's what makes you incredible, and why so many people in my audience need to know who you are and what you're trying to do in the community.
Thank you. Yeah, it was not the path that I would have envisioned for myself, as a younger person. And I feel like I was kind of forced into it. But then also I've chosen to stay, single versus being in a relationship that's wrong for me. I definitely, am open to meeting the right life partner, but I'm also, like I said, I'm very picky. And I have faith that if and when the time is right, that will happen for me. But, I just keep coming back to the people in my life. Like, I give them so much credit for their support and all that they've poured into me, and just like the abundance of love that we experience in our family and friends.
That's incredible, guys. We are talking right now with Jamie Frazier. She has a contract for closed business we're going to talk all about in just 1 second. She's also a real estate flipper, super mom. There's so many great things that you're going to pick up from today's show, but it wouldn't be possible if we didn't have our sponsor, Red Maples. And Red Maples shows institutional investors, or shows investors how they can manage property institutionally. And if you're a small multifamily real estate investor, or you have a small portfolio of homes, let Red Maples help you through the process. We can determine at Red Maples a complete portfolio assessment for you, what's going on with your real estate investment. So many times people move failing assets over to property managers. They think the property manager was the issue. You don't necessarily have to move any assets to Red Maples. Just go get an assessment and determine what's going on. Why am I making money? Why am I not making money? Or maybe you just need a new property manager. Go to red-maples.com/assessment and get a full assessment of your rental portfolio. Now we're back with Jamie. So Jamie, we were just talking about delegation and how important delegation is. And that's something you had to learn to do as an entrepreneur. How important, people all the time tell me, and a lot of books I've read, Nathan, you need to delegate more. How did you make the decision on what to delegate and what not to delegate in your life? That's a difficult task, especially if you're running multiple businesses.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I joined Mike Hitko's group coaching mastermind, and he talks a lot about living in your zone of genius and working on that. Do the work that you find inspiring and do inspired work, and the rest of it, that's the stuff to delegate. And so it's not going to be the same answer for anybody. Everybody's going to have a different answer to that, but that is how I determine. It's like, what do I love doing? What roles and hats do I love? Like, that's what I need to be spending my time doing. And then it's a lot of mindset work too. I realized that I was addicted to being stressed out. Like, I don't struggle with addiction to pretty much anything else, but I was addicted to stress, and that feels really insane to me. Like, I just had this fear of boredom. So once I realized that, then I was able to work on it. The first thing is to identify what the problem is, and that was my problem. So I am learning to break that addiction to stress, going and just sitting by the water, or going on a hike, or meditating and learning how to do that. So every day is just a little bit better.
Yeah.
I've come a long way and I have a long way to go. That's one of my favorite sayings.
So many people, when you talk about stress, one of the things that stresses them out is the finances. And I know I breached the subject a little bit in the show just because I wanted to make sure the audience was prepared to have this epiphany or conversation around the thought process of the fear of taking the plunge, right? Actually making the decision to invest in a piece of real estate. Pulling the trigger, taking your 25, 30, 100, 150, $200,000 in cash out of your account, paying for an asset, putting $25, $50, $75,000 into that asset, and then trying to resell it to somebody else. That can be a scary proposition for people. How did you get over? How did you get over the hurdle of the investment piece of real estate?
So I have been going to a local real estate investors meetup for a while. The brokerage that I hang my real estate license with is called Magnolia, and it's an independent brokerage, and they partner with Faster House, which is a flipping company, and they also have an education division. I am a member of that mastermind, so I learned a lot from that course and the calls and everything. So I had a lot of knowledge given to me, and my broker was also very supportive. He's like, this is who you talk to. So I'm physically in the building with people that are investing in real estate. And if you don't work in a building like I do, where other people are investing in real estate, you can still come to your local meetups. If you're in St. Louis, there's some really good ones. But most metropolitan areas have real estate investor meetups. And so all 3 of my projects have had private money lenders. There's also a local hard money lender in our building they're great. There's other hard money lenders. So I did use those funds for my projects. It's still a big risk. Like, I'm personally on the note, and I still need to be really wise with my investment, but you should never invest in anything that you don't understand. And I really would encourage people not to just buy the first thing that comes along. Don't oh, I have to buy a deal. I have to buy a deal. No, be ready. And then the right deal will come along. You'll learn to recognize it. And all 3 of the ones I bought were kind of intuition, but it was intuition based on experience, with real estate. So, and then I don't know, I try to live my life thinking, how am I going to look on this, 5, 10, what's the 2020, vision going to be on this looking back? So I try to make any decision that I do, am I going to regret this? Or regret that I didn't try doing this? So that's, 2 sides of the coin. Be cautious, but also don't live your life and wish that you had tried. And then people, just find the right people to connect with. And then, obviously, ask your network, hey, I have this plumber. What's your experience? I do that with a lot of contractors too. That's a big story that's out there. People get burned by contractors all the time. Everyone I work with, I've talked to 5 or 10 other investors that have worked with that same contractor. So I feel really confident in that I'm not going to get screwed over.
Yeah. I think one of the challenges that some real estate investors have is doing that at scale, right? So you can go out and find 1 or 2 local contractors and grow a business to a certain point, but you're going to get to a point, guys, where you need additional resources and help. And that's where a company like Red Maples, like ours, comes in and helps you, is that when you get to scale and you can't do it all anymore and you need trusted resources, we have those trusted resources. We've been scaling real estate investors, my partner and I, since 15 years ago in the St. Louis market. So that's why there's companies that can help you when you get to certain sizes and certain scales. You just need to know who those partners are. And so we are talking with Jamie Frazier, and she has her own contract for close business. And again, we're going to talk about that in just 1 second. We have been talking about flipping, and we're also talking about delegating. And so this has been a big way that she's been able to overcome. She's delegated her mindset. She went to a couple masterminds. She's delegated, within her business. She has an operations manager that's doing a great job helping her out. She's delegated some of the responsibilities at home to make sure her home's kept up. You got to delegate. One of the ways that you can affordably delegate is with BBC Global Services. They are outsourcing that helps people like you focus on your superpowers. Like Jamie just said, live in your creative space, live where you're passionate. So BBC Global is simple and on your terms with no term limits and no minimums. You can get a free consultation. Go to bbcglobalservices.com if you're in need of a virtual assistant. And the reason that we endorse BBC Global Services on this show is because Red Maples uses them for our virtual assistants that we have within our organization, and they do a fantastic job. So if you need a virtual assistant, head on over for a free consultation at bbcglobalservices.com. Now we are back with Jamie. Jamie. So we've been talking now a lot about mindset. We talked about some of the fears that people have. We talked about the excuse of being a parent, and some people that's an excuse that happens to keep them from succeeding and taking action. We talked about the aspect of transitioning roles, right, from administrative and customer service. I want to talk now about flipping, like what you're passionate about, what you're working on. And so many people, they need effective systems for project management. And you mentioned that project management is an aspect that you're passionate about within the flipping experience. What are some key project management techniques that have been instrumental in your success?
So building relationships with those aforementioned inspectors and the permit reviewers, because those are separate people apparently. And then, I use really simple tools right now. I know there are project management systems out there. I use like a Google sheet and I put everything on there. I have my, list of, the scope of work, what we're doing, the order we're doing things in, kind of the checklist. So, and I mentioned before too, you need to go visit the properties frequently. You need to really make sure that things are being done the way you want. This project that I'm working on now, I realized because there were some miscommunications with, like, we resized a window, and to me it was really clear which window we were resizing, but to whoever measured them, it was not clear. They mixed it up, and so we had a delay with a window replacement. So I'm still learning these things, but just really be present. Yes, delegate, but this is your investment, and it's just the same as, you need to understand it. You need to still keep your hands on as much as you can. I know some people do remote investing, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you also need to have someone there that you trust that is physically walking the property every week and making sure that the project is on track. And yeah, just watch your numbers really closely. This current flip, I've structured a little bit differently. I have 2 partners on it, and they are in the trades. So I am the creative and the visionary and the admin and the project manager. They're doing the work, and then we're splitting the profits. And that, because I saw my last couple of flips that I was paying a lot for that, like painting and tile and interior finishes and things like that. So, and then I just sub out, roof, windows, siding, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, like all of those. I manage those subcontractors, and I still make sure they get their own permits like they're supposed to.
So how do you keep them all on track and on budget then?
It's just communication. Like I kind of have like I said, I have my checklist, and then I just, send out group texts and like, this is what's going on. And then I'll update them. Like, this is where we're at with our, our rehab loan. So it's pretty simple. Like, to me, it's not rocket science. But like I mentioned, this is my zone of genius. Like it feels easy to me, and it's fun. And then like, there's things like, originally we were going to put tile floor in the kitchen, and then we discovered that the wood floor that's in there isn't good enough shape to refinish. So like, instead of white cabinets, now we're doing gray. So now I'm changing the backsplash color, and like, it's fun for me. I love doing that. It's like, oh, I get to think about it, and my style is very like neutral, unique, like the color is maybe neutral, but like the texture or something is unique. Like I have fun with that. I don't have an interior design background, but I'm very artistic. So that's a lot of fun for me. And when I walked into this house that we're working on now, it was built in 1910. And I almost felt the house saying, I want you to like bring me to life. Like, I know that sounds a little weird, but I felt the energy of the house. I'm like, yes, this is really exciting. So it's I don't know, when you love what you do, it's easy. When it's in your zone of genius, it's easy. So I don't know. That's my whole approach. But keep it simple. My systems are very simple.
Hopefully one of these days I'll find my zone of genius. Oh my gosh. You've talked about the importance of strong mentors, having mentors in your life, mastermind groups you're a part of, Faster House, Inner Wealth Global with Mike Kitco. How has mentorship and networking within these circles influenced your career?
Oh, a lot. Like I've had at least three different coaches in my contract to close business. And I'm still involved in that on a national level. Like I'm on the committee to plan our national conference, and I'm going to be leading a panel on that. So I kind of like learning from a bunch of different people, whether they are my direct mentor or just leaders in the space. It's worth it. It's an investment. It definitely is. I don't know that like coaches work for free. Sometimes it's a scary amount of money, but I feel like when you invest a lot of money into a program, then like with the Inner Wealth, like it's a larger percentage of my monthly budget than it might be for someone further along than I am. But I'm on every single call. I do every bit of the work. Like we have a book study. I like read the chapter we're on like a couple of times and listen to the audios. Actually, like when you invest that much, you really just, that's the best experience. So the two things that have led to the most success in my life are to show up and do the right thing. And there's a lot of other things and, a lot of aspects, but those are the two keys to everything in my life that has been successful. Just show up and do the right thing.
Yeah, Jamie, John Maxwell, who's a mentor of mine, he's a leadership author and guru and expert. He says that you have to see value in yourself to add value to yourself. And I often look at coaching and mentors and masterminds as making an investment in yourself. Like if you're a real estate investor, you are the first asset that you'll ever buy when you first take that sum of money, sometimes 20,000, sometimes 100,000, sometimes 10,000. Sometimes you can find mastermind or educational programs for 2 or 3,000, but whatever it is, you invest it in yourself. That means you see value in fixing and flipping whatever's on the inside so it can come out to the outside of your life and manifest it and bring it up.
100%.
So I totally agree on seeing value in yourself and adding value to yourself by investing in yourself. What is a real estate program that you have followed or invested in that has provided you the most insights into the flipping business? For those that are watching this show, I'm sure a lot of people are interested in flipping. What's been the best program that's helped you in the flipping business?
100% Faster Freedom. So if you look up Sam Prim and Lucas Walls, they also have a podcast, which is really cool. It's the Faster Freedom Show. So you can kind of get a vibe on those guys. And I work in the same building with them. So like I see them multiple times a week. It's the absolute coolest thing. But they have a whole training course. And then they have every weekday there's a call, there's a Zoom call. Some days multiple ones. My favorite one is the construction call that we do. We have the construction manager for Faster House that leads that call. And then on Friday afternoons, we have a mindset call. I love that as well. So those are the two that I join pretty much every week. So as a community, they have an internal Facebook page, but yeah, the training and then the mentorship calls. They also just finished, they did like their own conference, which was really cool. I was in the building, but I wasn't able to attend. But yeah, Faster Freedom, that one was I learned a lot from that. And like I said, some people sign up for these programs and then, like I said, they don't show up. And you're not going to get anything out of it if you don't show up. The house that I'm sitting in now, I was on the construction call and he said, "Oh, I have this house in Hazelwood and but we don't have time to flip it. We have too much else going on. I would flip it." And I'm like, where is that? And he said a street, 2 streets over from where I lived. I'm like, well, I have to see that. And then I was like very, very politely aggressive, like, I was very friendly about it, but I'm like, I got to see this house. I got to see this house. And I saw it and I put a contract on it that day. And after it went under contract, I'm like, I think I want to live in this house. This is better than my house. So I kind of shifted my plan, my exit plan. And yeah, it's my house. It's the way that I want it. And now I have a cash flowing asset because the house that I lived in has like a below 3% mortgage on it. So, but I never would have known how to do that if I hadn't gone through Faster Freedom and learned that whole system. And never, if I hadn't invested that, like the equity gain that I got from that, I did the renovation loan and then I refinanced it into a conventional loan. And that wasn't easy either. But I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah. I mean, she's on her third flip right now, guys. So if you're wondering, like, who can I learn this information from? Go back and rewatch this show. Every aspect that Jamie Frazier is talking about right now on the show with you guys is sharing with you the journey that she took to get to her third flip. Like this isn't somebody that's trying to flip houses or thinking about flipping houses. This is somebody that started the process a couple of years ago and is slowly building a flipping business. And you can do the same thing. She has other responsibilities. She has other commitments. She has other things going on. She's currently learning how to restructure her life so that she's working to live and not living to work. And you can do all of these things just by go back, rewatch the show, and learn exactly what Jamie did. Dissect it and put yourself in a position to be able to flip more houses. She told you programs she's invested in. If you want to learn to do it, invest in those programs. It's not just one program she's invested in, guys. You've heard this. She's getting multiple insights from different mentors who are specific to different areas of her life that she's trying to improve. So with that said, I do want to take a second and thank our sponsor, Web Insurance. Web Insurance is the organization to go to if you're a 1099. Let Web Insurance be your guide. They can review your current coverages and make sure that you have the correct policies at the most affordable prices. And what their clients love about them is every year they proactively shop your insurances to ensure you're truly with the most affordable carrier at the most appropriate coverages. From contractors to real estate investors, let Web Insurance be your guide. If you receive your income via 1099, again, let Web Insurance be your guide. So thank you, Web Insurance, for sponsoring the show. All right, guys, we're talking with Jamie Frazier. We have covered a lot of information on the show, and it is one that you're going to want to go back and rewatch because there is so much value here. We talked about the importance of getting rid of some of those excuses, attacking the excuses that keep us from making those decisions, whether those excuses happen to be our parenting life or our partner life, or maybe transitioning from one thing to another. Maybe you have fears. We talked all about that in this show. We talked about how you can be better at project management. It doesn't have to be complicated. A simple Google Sheet works out. We talked all about finding the right mentors and different specific mentors that Jamie's used to get to the spot that she's at. And so now comes the rubber meets the road. You've got to make the decision and take action. But you got to do this all with personal values. The problem I find that so many real estate investors make is that they try to get into the real estate investing business, but they've got a bad inside. They're just not good people. They're trying to get every dime out of somebody. They're trying to take advantage of other people. And you got to align your personal values with your professional goals. Those two things cannot be independent, which is what you're seeing from guests that we have on this show all the time. Jamie, how do you ensure that your personal values and your professional activities are aligned, especially with multiple different businesses, multiple different mentors? Like I just heard you say that you were aggressively persistent on a call, but you weren't disrespectful to anybody. You were trying to help them out of a situation. It wasn't to be selfish. There was some selfish alignment in it, but there was also the aspect of helping somebody else out of a situation that they were currently in. So walk us through, how do you align your personal values with your professional activities?
So, I mean, for me, I believe very strongly that houses should be lived in. I know it's so simple, but like if a home is not habitable, we have a housing shortage. That's part of the whole problem with like why prices are going up, and we have an inventory shortage and people are struggling. So I really very, very strongly believe that if I can, it's like that allegory story about like the guy that's walking along the beach and throwing the starfish in, and someone's like, you can't pick them all up. And he's like, well, I made a difference to that one. So for me, it's like, I'm taking homes that were not livable, and I am enjoying making them livable and giving someone a good home. And if you're familiar with the market that I'm in, these homes are affordable. They're for just regular people. Like that's been my goal the whole time. So, and then as I continue to increase my impact, what I do as part of my giving back will be related to that as well. So I'm building this so that I can help people, get into those good, safe homes, and also to help other women who are leaving relationships that are not healthy for them, to be able to have financial stability, to be able to stay out of relationships that aren't good for them. Because I learned from my own experience that was what gave me the ability to stay out of a bad relationship, was financial stability. And I'm in a lot of like mom groups and people that are like, I want to leave, I need to leave, but I don't know how. Like, I don't know what to do. And so that's the direction I'm going, helping people get into good homes and also helping others have financial stability, because you can, it's a lot of it's mindset too. And just having the resources. Sometimes people just need a friend.
Yeah.
Guide them. So and I read my vision, my life vision, multiple times a week. I should read it every day, but I keep it in front of me. Like I don't just think about it occasionally. I actually reread it.
Yeah, that was a nod to you, Mike Kitco. Thanks for watching the show today, by the way. Appreciate it. All right. So we talked about personal values now. Personal values are important, and part of that is your life purpose and mission and things that you've laid out. I am extremely blessed to have had you on the show today, Jamie. There's this famous quote by Russell Sage, and he was a financier back in the railroad time, like Andrew Carnegie. A lot of people call this Russell Sage the father of options trading. So he was kind of known for being in the stock market, but he said this about real estate. He said, real estate is an imperishable asset, ever increasing in value, and it is the most solid security the human ingenuity has devised. And so this is an options trader and a finance guy that lends money on the railroad, but he said real estate was his best bet. So what would you say to people who are on the fence about investing in real estate?
So, I mean, the very fundamentals of economics are supply and demand. And our friend Jen Donnelly said that where the demand is high, she wants to be the supply. And so, yeah, people need to live in houses.
I love it. How can people get in contact with you, Jamie? Thank you for being on the show. Where can they find you?
So as far as social media, I'm a Facebook girl. I was telling Nathan, like I was originally MySpace, and when that went away, I was left with Facebook. I'm on Instagram too. So my business is Client Care Services. That is my contract to close business. I really, people have asked me to do different things, and my zone of genius with that is like the local St. Louis market, traditional sales, anything you want to know about the current contract. And I'm also studying, we're about to change our whole entire contract. So if you want a local expert that knows how to help you like be a second brain, and like, so it's not all on you. Like I track deadlines, I schedule closings, all of those things that, you don't need to spend your time doing that. I do everything except I don't negotiate, and I don't advise your clients. But I help you get paid, compliant, and everything like that. And just, it's all the stuff that you delegate. And I intend to still be fully involved as the leader and the implementer and the person that troubleshoots things, even as I build a team to help me do that. It's still my system, and I'm still here.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much, Jamie, for being on the show today. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time to do so.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. All right, guys, we talked a lot today. We had a lot of conversation around this whole concept of how do you get to the point to flip houses. If you're wanting to flip houses, I sincerely encourage you to go back and rewatch this show over and over and over again. And if you want to know how to grow a business, how do you grow to the point so that you've generated enough revenue so that you have some stashed away for a rainy day? How do you continue to grow and scale your organization so that your cash flow is keeping up with the demand? How do you market in a way that is integrable and honest and non-manipulative? How do you put out your message to the marketplace in a way that people are encouraged and uplifted, but at the same time, there's no manipulation or control? You need to go check out my book, The Caesar Method. You can get it on my website at nathanbushmba.com. You can go to the store there, or you can go to Amazon. Either places you can get this book, The Caesar Method. I did a workshop on the Caesar Method not too long ago, and what people loved and said that they loved about the workshop was I showed them how to tie their personal values to their business endeavors. And they felt so much better about the things that they were doing. Look, you cannot sell something to somebody that you don't truly believe in. You have to see value in what you're doing. This book will help get you there. Go pick up the book, learn the 6 steps to rapid strategic growth with the Caesar Method. All right. And with that said, guys, we are coming to the end of the show. I appreciate you guys hanging out there with me. We learned all about all kinds of stuff. Going back through my notes, I learned a bunch of stuff. Number one, I learned how to balance the whole parenting aspect of my life with my business. That was extremely important, and I encourage you to go back and watch that section if that's been a challenge for you. I learned a lot about navigating transitions between different roles and companies to transitioning into the dreams and the hopes and the encouragement that we have for ourselves. I also learned about how to overcome fears, and you can learn those things too. Just go back and rewatch it. Then I also was appreciative that it doesn't have to be complicated in order to put project management resources in place. You can use simple things like Google Sheets to track every aspect of a project and your budgets. You don't have to have fancy software in order to be able to be in the flipping business. You also, I learned about the importance of having mentors and investing in myself. I've always believed in investing in myself, but I saw it at a deeper level today. I learned all about the aspects of doing it for specific things that you're trying to accomplish. So find a mentor, coach, somebody that's going to get you the transition, the result that you're specifically looking for. And that's a great investment to make, not just randomly in different tools or resources or books or programs. Find out what specifically you're trying to accomplish. Go find the person that can help you get there. And then lastly, make sure your values are a part of your business. They got to be, or you're not going to hit the goals that you're looking to achieve. And that, Renovation Nation, that brings us to the end of another episode. I hope that I am your guide for your real estate business growth. And remember, just like plants need the right air, soil, and care, our minds need the right environment to build a life of purpose, passion, and growth. Don't forget to subscribe to Mind Renovation Nation and follow us. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can follow me by subscribing to my newsletter at www.nathanbushmba.com. And if you want a full citizenship, please share the show. When you share the show, it lets other people know where they can find out about real estate business growth every Friday at noon. And join me next time for more insights, inspiration, and of course, a little bit of that nation building spirit that drives us to create a community united by shared values, purpose, and a commitment to leaving a lasting legacy. Until then, keep building, keep growing, and let's lead more than 25,000 souls to a life of values-based investing. In our journey of Mind Renovation Nation, we often talk about personal growth, ethical leadership, making impactful choices. Look, values-based investing is an extension of that philosophy. It's about being a steward not only of our finances, but of our values and vision for the future. So I'm signing off from the heart of St. Louis. Stay blessed, stay inspired, and remember, every day is a chance to renovate your nation. Thanks, guys.